Hello and welcome to another edition of Fourth Down Magazine's Fourth and Goal, the video podcast where we break down everything going on in the Mid-Penn Conference, talk to some of the game's biggest names, and maybe have a couple laughs along the way. I'm your host, Jake Adams, here as always with Andy Shea. Andy, I've just returned from a wedding. The Phillies are playing right now as we speak, and it's really cold out all of a sudden. Fall's here. Help me get my feet back under me. I don't have a question today. I just wanted to say help me get my feet back under me.
Well, you're not going to get your feet underneath you unless the Phillies lose a playoff game. There, right? As long as they're continuing to win, look at your background. You're going to continue to fly high. So they need to lose, and then you'll be back to reality. Until then, keep your feet in the air, brother.
I don't want reality if that's the case. Well, we got football to talk about, not the Phillies right now, as much as I would like to. We have a certain quarterback to talk about this week. He will be on the show in a little bit as well. But I want to open briefly with perhaps the biggest surprise of week 7, Northern upsetting East Penn. I did not see that coming this week. None of us saw that coming if you looked at our predictions going into the week. And looking back at the stats and coverage, since again, I was away for a little bit this weekend, Northern seemed to control this game for a long time. So Andy, what should we make of this outcome?
It was a massive upset, right? Like, one of the things that you kind of worry about with East Pennsboro is they kind of always lose a game they shouldn't, right? But it's a massive upset. There's no, that is without question. Northern had one win, and they were on a
Mm-hmm.
5-game losing streak, right? East Pennsboro was 7-0 and unbeaten. But the only thing I do know is Northern showed up when the game kicked off, and East Pennsboro was too slow to join the party, right? I mean, less than a minute into the second quarter, they spotted the Polar Bears 21 points.
Yeah.
You can't, that's a long climb back, right? If you look at it, the final 36 minutes of the game, it was 21-7, which is kind of what you would expect over, the course of that game. East Pennsboro 21, Northern gets a touchdown. But
Yeah.
the thing that grabbed me about this upset is East Pennsboro came back and tied it at 21. Northern closed them out, right?
Yes.
Defensively. They closed out the Panthers defensively, and that's what grabs me about this game. Northern retook the lead. They retook the lead 28-21 with like 6:30 to play. And they made it stand up.
Yeah.
That's an earned upset in my book, and good for them. And here's the other thing I just want to say. Northern had 0 turnovers and 2 penalties. That adds up when you're talking about a massive upset. 0 turnovers, 2 penalties. That kind of
And
win is earned. It wasn't given to you.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like this offense has struggled a lot throughout the season. So for them to put up 28 points and, like you said, match that score when East Pennsboro finally tied it,
Yep.
that's one of those, like, we see high school teams all the time that have these down years like this. And Northern's had a really good stretch up until this year for about 3 or 4 years. For them to get this win, it's going to be a rough season for them record wise, but this is one of those wins where like they can hang their hat on for a good long time of like, look what we did and look how we did it. This is what they can do when they play their best. So
Yeah.
obviously a good one.
You can't go down
Um,
21 points to anybody in 13 minutes.
nope, even if you're East Penn.
Right.
the the but as we were taught, I hinted at earlier, the big news this week beyond this upset was what happened at Camp Hill. Steel High,
Right.
everyone knows at this point, Steel High quarterback Alex Irby is the new all-time passing yards leader in Pennsylvania. He got the record on a QB's best friend, the shovel pass, the easiest pass in the world to complete. What else can we say now about Irby?
So he's going to establish a pretty high bar, right? There's a lot of football left this season. I kind of wrote about this in my Sunday morning quarterback, but I think it's worth saying again here and reiterating. His career numbers to date are the revealing of his excellence beyond just the state passing record for yards, right? And that's a
Mm-hmm.
coveted record to have, right? I mean, he's attempted more than 850 passes in his career and completed 75% of them. 75%. Now, he's got dudes around him. We're granting him that. But more than 20% of his completions are for touchdowns. So, with such a massive number of attempts, the last thing that grabs me, over 850 attempts, 27 interceptions. So he takes care of the football. And he started since he was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly one interception every 32 attempts. That is sort of, to me, all that reveals what is beyond just the yards for the state passing record. So I think it's more of a complete quarterback than just a guy that had a bunch of dudes around him and slings it all over the lot.
And it's not like he ever had like one really massive year as a junior or senior. He put up big numbers as a freshman. He's gotten better since for sure, but he put up really, really strong numbers for a freshman. And that's how you get to a record like this. It's been standing for a long time. You have to be a 4-year player, a stud player all 4 years.
Yep.
Um, I have one other observation off of this. It's not so much a question, but just something us journalists call enterprise coverage. Irby and Bishop McDevitt Stone Sounders, who's a junior, have kind of cemented this era of high octane passing offense in the mid pen. It's been here for a while, but it feels like this particular 4-year stretch is where it's the combination of how football has evolved at all levels, from NFL to college to high school. Uh,
Right.
Now it's here in Central PA. Started about a decade ago, and in this area was still it wasn't all wing T and I formation offenses, but it was still very much dominated by teams that ran that, the Cumberland Valleys, the Central Dolphins of the world. Now quarterbacks have come to this conference, and I don't see it going back to the old ground and pound game that we have. Every team, if you want to compete now, you have to be able to throw the rock. You have to be able to spread offenses out. Still got to run. Running is still extremely important in the high school game, but the passing game's here to stay now. It's just something kind of looking at this accomplishment and kind of taking a broader look at it that I just kind of notice right now.
Yeah, I miss a huddle. I'll be honest with you. I miss teams huddling, but I don't
Also for
have a
taking
problem.
notes during games.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the pace at all. It actually is more engaging, but the game the game has evolved, like you said, from as it trickles down. It's become about what you do in space than what you can. It's become more about what you can do in space than what you can accomplish in close quarters, mano a mano. That's
Mhm.
it. That's the basic difference. I'm not saying that offensive line play or the trenches don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the capacity to operate well in space rules the game right now.
Yeah, and it makes for a very entertaining product. So we're gonna take a quick break here, real quick, and bring on Alex Irby, the man of the week. So there's no need for a long introduction here today. We've already been talking about him for the start of this video. The man of the week, possibly the 2023 season, is here to join us after his record-setting performance on Friday. Alex, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations, by the way, as well.
Yep, thank you for having me on.
So, Alex, I
Well,
want to start with a question here about you getting this state passing record. We know obviously you've won 2 state titles already, and you're going for number 3, and that's probably the thing you're going to say is your favorite accomplishment, of course. But of the individual achievements or moments that you've had throughout your career, is there one that stands out as your favorite?
I would say, I mean, becoming the all-time leading passer leader in Pennsylvania, I mean, that kind of stands up there. But I mean, I would say winning the state championship for the first time in 2020, and like all the adversity that we had to go through as a unit, as a team, and just that 24 class. I mean, we dreamed about winning a state championship for a while now, but it's just been like it was surreal. Just winning with the same guys that you've been playing with since you were 5 and 6. First, we've been playing together since we've been introduced to the game of football. So I mean, just winning with those guys and just childhood friends with Makai Flowers. Actually, my brother was on that team as well. Damian Hammond is number 2. So this, just all that was just like family ties, and we all gelled. Especially with COVID, I mean, it was hard going through practices with masks on, social distancing. I mean, we couldn't start around August. So I mean, that was pretty hard as well. So I mean, just gelling together and facing all the adversity together through that crisis of time was truly special.
hey Alex, you're obviously you progressed. You're a finished product now. My question is, how have you changed the most as a quarterback from your seat? Right, you watch yourself, you critique yourself. I'm sure you have a certain dad/coach who helps you, but you watch yourself and you work on your own game and you watch film on how to get better. So if you could think back, how have you changed the most as a quarterback from those sort of early games as a freshman What do you know and see now and remember from back then that stands out from you, the quarterback?
I would say the confidence and the IQ level of the game. I mean, the confidence part, I mean, coming in as a 15-year-old freshman, just coming there taking those stats, I mean, the IQ level wasn't all the way there. I mean, I really didn't have my confidence and IQ level to the highest point until the end of my junior year when I actually start seeing the game better. I mean, I obviously I was watching more film. Obviously, I was doing multiple things to get myself better, but just the confidence piece is playing over the last couple of years and just realizing like, I mean, some of these college camps and stuff like that. I mean, I've been with 4 or 5 star kids. I mean, and I realized just like, I mean, what's different between me and you? Like, there's nothing different. So I always have that superstar mentality. Just going to a game, it doesn't matter who I'm playing against or anything like that. So I would say the confidence and IQ level is definitely soaring through the roof right now.
All right, I got to follow up, and I'm gonna stick with the sort of retro thing. You can go back, right? Alex, the quarterback today. You can go back to Alex, the freshman quarterback. What's the one piece of advice you'd give yourself today if you could go back and talk to Alex, the freshman quarterback?
I just tell them like the adversity is coming because I mean, obviously we lost coming into my second year. I mean, I'd never imagined losing any football games after the first year I had. I mean, I thought it would all be sunshine and rainbows, but I mean that kind of hit me. And that was kind of a reality point, like, oh, you're just like a regular high school kid. You're not living off the hot seat. I mean, even when we lost to Big Springs by a lot, 42, I think it was 42-14. That kind of put our whole group on the hot seat because we didn't lose until our 17th game, I believe so.
Right.
So that kind of was a reality check to us. And then especially after losing to Big Springs and Canton that year, I mean, first round of playoffs, I mean, we didn't think anything. We didn't think Canton was going to beat us that game. I mean, we went in there saying, oh, we did this before. They haven't been here. So going up to Tawanda and them punching us in the mouth I think it was the best thing that ever happened to us. So as me as a player as well, I mean, that is really just took me and just going back to work, just going back into the film room, going back, running the hills, going back to training every single day. So that was really the reality check. And I would tell my freshman self, the adversity's coming. You just got to go with it.
I want to go a little bit to left field here with you. Is there another, you're obviously really dedicated to your craft and you take a lot of time to work with your team and to get ready for each game, but when you get a chance at all, is there another quarterback out there in the mid pen or the rest of the state that you really just like to watch their film? And if so, who and why?
I got a couple of guys. I mean, Hayden Johnson from Mayheim Township. I mean, we trained together with Coach Contafio. This him as a player. I mean, I watched him against Harrisburg. I mean, people were kind of shocked about how he was playing and performing. I mean, he's put the work in the offseason. I mean, he's been there with Coach Contafio every single day. I mean, while I was with him, and this the type of player he is, the type of team player he is. I mean, playing against Mayheim Township as well in a 7-on-7 game. I mean, also the work's in the pudding. I mean, he's committed to Lehigh now, but I was kind of there when it was his freshman year and nobody knew anything about him. But just training with him, just watching him play as a player, I mean, it's truly special. I mean, to seeing how much he grew as a player. I mean, I watched him when he played Central Dauphin East when Mackay first got there. So, I mean, he grew a lot as a player, but I mean, it was all the work he put in over at Mayhem Central or over there in Spooky Nook. So, I mean, just watching him as a player, I mean, my hats goes off to him.
Yeah, I love that one. I'm just going to chime in here real quick. You've got more pure passer skills, right? Like you got a bigger arm. He's a surgeon. He has really he's really worked hard at his craft to become as good as he's become. And he will just carve you up with 7 and 9 yard passes all day long. That is a great call. I love that answer. Good question, Jake. Good question. I want to ask one other one real quick, and then I'll let you ask the last one, Jake. I've always wondered about you guys in this era, and thanks for spending some time with us again. You've had a wealth of talent at skill positions, right? And running back and wide receiver, right? Like both of them, both positions. And talent needs fed, right? That's a lot of ball that you guys have had to spread around over the past 3.5 years, and as you finish off this year. Have you ever felt the pressure to try and like feed the beast or feed as many horses as possible? Or did you leave that up to the coaches? I'm just wondering how you dealt with that from your perspective, because and you can see out there and you're like, We got dudes. We got lots of dudes, but a lot of dudes need the ball. So did you feel some of that pressure, or did you leave that to the coaches and let them tell you where to guide the ball?
Well, my dad, I mean, he's been calling the plays for, I mean, my whole high school career now. So, I mean,
Right.
years, I mean, we had those dudes. I mean, my freshman year, we had 3 all-state receivers. I
Right.
mean, as me going to this, the football year, I was thinking like, oh, like, how am I going to get all these dudes' attention? How, like, or anything like that. So, I mean, I think the coaching staff does a really good job of knowing what's best for the game plan and stuff like that. So that kind of released some pressure off my shoulders. But I mean, last year, my junior year, I mean, we really didn't throw the ball as much as we have
Right.
been. So, I mean, we had Ronald Burnett Jr. I mean, him running for 200 yards a game. But I think our team does a good job of praising each other. I mean, we never have like a selfish piece on the team. This is like whatever's working at the moment. I mean, we just want to win. So, I mean, our team does a good job of that, and it's hard to do. I mean, when you
It
deserve,
is.
the wide receivers on our team can play anywhere in the state. I think so. So just taking that praise from Ronald and just giving him the ball. I mean, sometimes he got the ball 30 times a game, and that's their playoff run. So, I mean, I just tell our guys. I mean, we just got to do what's best to win. I mean, the RPOs may be there, the pass game may be there, but if they're playing the pass, we just got to run the ball. And my dad always says, I mean, you got to be able to run the ball in December and defend the run in December. So that's the only way you can win a state championship then.
Alex, I'm going to steal a page out of Andy's playbook here, but I'm going to call it sibling rivalry questions instead of hot seat questions here. You and your
Okay.
brother Andrew, I got a quick rapid fire questions here for you. Take us a little bit inside the house here. Who wins at board games, you or Andrew?
Oh man, all day. I mean, we don't play as much board games, but when we play Monopoly or there's any of those games like that, I mean, I'm the champion that.
How about Madden?
Oh man, we got our back and we go back and forth. I mean, we just played today. I mean, he had the Ravens, I had the Steelers. I mean, he got me on that one. So,
Any games of one-on-one pickup basketball out in the backyard or the driveway, I should say?
oh man, when we're in basketball season, when we go 1-on-1, I mean, he's more of a post up type of player. So once I stop him one time, I mean, I can just go around and rip through and everything like that. So I think it's me all day. He agree on that too.
And then who drives your dad slash coach the most crazy?
Oh man, I would say me, just being as a quarterback and then adjustments and stuff like that. So we bump our heads sometimes, but Andrew's that kind of out of the way one since he doesn't have to get coached as much. But I think it's definitely me.
So it's just out of sight, out of mind with him.
Yeah, he's the innocent one.
All right, Alex, we're going to throw you on the hot seat, not the sort of Jake brother versus brother hot seat, the overall hot seat. 4 quick questions. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, beach house or lake house? Which one?
Oh, beach house all day.
All right, this one might be tough. Give me one person. They can be dead or alive. That's your choice. Give me one person that you want to have lunch with. Who is it?
Oh man. I would say Deion Sanders right now.
Coach Prime Time.
Yeah, Coach Prime.
Man, he was so good. Give me any other team in the Mid-Penn Conference whose uniform combination catches your eye. Who do you like? Any other team in the Mid-Penn?
Oh.
Because I know you guys look at uniforms.
Yeah, we definitely do. I got 2 teams right here. I mean, two
Okay.
Harris. I like McDevitt's all gold ones with the gold helmets, and
Nice.
I love Harrisburg's all black, and because sometimes you can just switch up any color accessories with those, so you can go neon green gloves and it's all black uniforms. They're pretty sick
Nice.
too.
They are. Harrisburg gets a lot of calls. And so does McDevitt in all the different combinations. All the McDevitt different combinations. All right, last one. Sheets and as much detail as you'd like to share. What's your go-to order when you go to Sheets?
Oh man, I mean, I just got this the other night with my girlfriend, so I
There you
got
go.
a burrito, a steak and chicken burrito with. I mean, I'm not a rice or beans type of person, so I just put those on the side and lettuce. I love the boom boom sauce, by the way. That's kind of been a go to since this last couple of years. And I would get a bucket of curly fries with that. That's like literally my go to after a football game. I would run right the sheets right by my house and just go there and just get that right all day.
Such a unique answer.
All right, that's a good one. It always is good. Some guys will go off on the sides, tell us how many different side dishes they'll get, how many different sides they get. Some go straight to well, you got to get the chocolate milk or you got to get a milkshake, and then you go here. It's different for everybody. So it's always one of the best questions because, Sheets has evolved, and now they got the touch screens. You got like 9 choices of where you want to start and where you're going. So, but all right, that'll do it. Back to you, Jake. I'm done.
Yeah, Alex, I mean, thank you so much for your time. I know the regular season's fast wrapping up here, and you guys got a potential state playoff run one more time to get through. But thanks for taking a few minutes out of your crazy season to join us, and congrats on the record again. Good luck with the touchdown record chase here as well very soon, and good luck the rest of the season as a team.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Thanks again to Alex Irby for joining us today. We're going to turn our attention now to week 8. We've got a big slate of games. It's kind of a rivalry week here. We've got Big Spring versus Boiling Springs. We've got Cumberland Valley at Carlisle. We've got Camp Hill Trinity, spreading all class sizes and everything. Andy, what's your favorite current or former rivalry in all of the Mid-Penn, not just these games this week?
Yeah, that's a really good question. My favorite name for any rivalry is Middletown Lower Dauphin. It's the Iron Spike Bowl. Come on, that's a great name.
Football.
Yeah, and my sort of fave is I've always been a fan of the Milton Hershey and the Cocoa Bean Bowl. It has a name, and obviously I love names. I think all rivalries, if you're going to have one, then you need to find a name for it. And B, I just like the Cocoa Bean Bowl because it's got some tradition and it matters, right? It's got some tradition behind it, and that's important. And that's why that one sort of grabs me. But my favorite name is the Iron Spike Bowl by far. Little Brown Jug, I never quite got it, but I like the name, but I never quite got it. Iron Spike Bowl, I know exactly what that game's about. So those are my favorites.
And this one, I want to turn a little bit more attention to a specific game here, but it's not a classic rivalry, but State College versus Harrisburg, which is usually one of the best games of the season, at least in recent years. Both teams are 4-0 in division play right now in the Commonwealth. They each have one loss during the season out of division play. Winner probably claims the division, barring some sort of upset here in the next few weeks. So what's your breakdown of this matchup?
Yeah, this is a tough one to call for me. Harrisburg, CD East just lined up and ran the ball right down Harrisburg's throat last week. There's no other way to put it. I mean, look, the Panthers running back Jared Porter, who's only a junior, and you've got to know his name, and if you don't, just go watch any highlights of him against Harrisburg, and you'll know why. He's developing into an elite running back in so many ways. And he's only a junior. He literally created a highlight reel in that game. I couldn't stop watching him Friday night. CD's nearly pulled off an upset, but, the Cougars got some moxie. Sean Lee Jr.'s got his moxie, and savvy showed up, right? Like, he won them that game on his own accord. Inside State College passing game against Harrisburg secondary, that's going to be where the rubber meets the road for me. The Little Lions get the ball out quick. They don't give their quarterback a chance to be pressured very often, so I don't think that's going to play a role. How much hay can State College make in their sort of short passing game that they rely on to sort of power their engine? Because I think Harrisburg will fix a little bit of their run defense. I think that's going to be the key matchup for me. And can State College eliminate Harrisburg's ability to hit the big plays? CD East threw an umbrella around it and put all the pressure on Sean Lee Jr. He eventually, took care of it and won the game for him. State College defense is better than CD East defense. That's going to be tough. I think it's a fascinating matchup.
For sure. Last question for week 8. With East Pennsborough's loss, we've been talking for a few weeks like this is their division to run away with at this point. We didn't see that Northern loss coming. Now all of a sudden it's them, it's Gettysburg, it's Susquehanna Township, all 3-1 in the Colonial.
Yeah.
Now what? I mean, really, that's the question.
Yeah.
Now what?
Right. So I don't know. East Pennsborough's got to pick up some pieces, right? Gettysburg scoring Now they didn't score against Shippensburg. They played kind of a Shippensburg game and shut them out and won. Susquehanna Township, I think, is the team that's finding itself, right? You can see it. Remember their peril 1-point losses to Milton Hershey and Mechanicsburg away from being undefeated instead of 5-2. And they are cooking right now. The kicker is Hannah still has to play East Pennsboro and Gettysburg in the stretch run, so they have the toughest road. East Penn already beat Gettysburg, so that's a leg up. I just think this is a heavyweight bout to the finish. I don't know. I just see something in the Hannah tribe right now that I like on both sides of the ball. It appears to me that they've been kind of wiggling through since they lost those 2 close games. They've been searching, and I think they found it. It looks like they found what they were looking for, because they look like a very polished and competent football team right now. I'm not saying that Susquehanna is going to be the Colonial Division, is going to come out on top, because they have the toughest road. But I like the way they're playing football right now.
Well, Nandy, you know the old saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Way to bring it out.
We're finished
Mr.
here this week
Cliche.
before week 8. For Andy Shea and the Fourth Down Magazine team, I'm Jake Adams. Be sure to head over to fourthdownmagazine.com this week for all of our coverage before, during, and after the games and through the rest of the season. We'll see you next week.
See ya.